Hello, my name is Abe and welcome back to Monster Train. I feel like doing another run. Maybe we'll get a little bit luckier this time. Maybe we'll play a little bit better Awoken Hellhorn. Probably one of the most horrible combinations I've ever seen. No, that's probably not true, but it's not a combination I'm very good with, let's say that. There's a lot of specific combinations in Monster Train that I am probably just extremely awful at, but that are also probably a lot extremely difficult. This one, for instance, Stygian and Hellhorned, both exile. No targeted damage spells makes it really hard to kill big backline units. Well, not big, but small backline units that really hurt you hard. Vent might be a good AoE spell. Let's try to pay more attention to what cards we want in our deck, you know, what we need to defeat Divinity. I keep just adding cards to decks and they don't work. Let's work on it. Seraph the Digilant, Consume, plus Talos, plus Arcus. So Talos is Days on Strike. That's not bad at all. And Arcus is Incant and Death, which is not that bad at all. So we'll see what happens here. We do have some Rage cards enabled. Frozen cards are reduced to 0. I like it because it means that Ice Tornado is just like an instant take. Jackstrips is also pretty good early because, you know, as I said, we have no ability to actually target units. So if we take, oh, it's the Incanter. If we take Jackstrips, we might be able to slowly kill units that move up. It's gonna be next to worthless in the late game, but in the early game it helps a lot. Titan's Claws is like the exact opposite. It's nearly worthless now, but in the late game it's probably gonna be really good for us. I'm gonna take Titan's Claw. Frozen cards being reduced to 0. That means we can put freeze on anything and then it's playable, just later. So Frostbite or Action. I'm still gonna go Frostbite on Soul Guard. We'll see if we can't make it work. What's our path look like here? 3 late Divine Temples, and then 1 Divine Temple right before or right after Talos. So we can get a final unit and duplicate and then start melding at that point if we want. So let's just do the first comet, we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna go for a divine artifact. Maybe I should. For 15 pack shards, honestly, I'd rather just have a little bit more protection here. Spikes 3. We do have, unfortunately, big heavy hitting units that have a lot of HP instead of the small weak guys, which would be a lot better for us. But, you know, Spikes does allow us to potentially get a little bit of frost action here. I will buff ourselves and then incant a couple of times. You are gonna die due to an imp. Actually, Forgotten Power will do it, and then also we don't take the Ember Drain, so why don't we do that instead? Play you. Play you. You're not quite dead. Apply Spell Weakness 1 to an enemy unit. You know what? First of all, that's very lucky. We are not taking damage, so we're not actually applying Ember Drain. That's why this looked a little bit funky. And honestly, just keep stacking up the sap, or rather keep stacking up the rage. Early rage, I didn't think it would be this good, but it's quite nice. Queen's Imp needs to take a shot. You need to get sapped. You have 1 HP. You are gonna die, and we're gonna make it through the first combat without taking any pyre damage. You'll love to see it. I do say I hate the imps. They're absolutely awful. So Ice Tornado, it's exactly what we want with Titan's Claw. I don't see a reason to take any other card there. Fortify, Rage, Hornbreak. The piercing is really, really good. To be able to kill some of the weaker units in the late game that have a lot of HP, 10 magic power is enough on this card alone. Great card. Fortify with the armor, though, is really nice on Soul Guard to be able to actually put armor on him so that he lives longer. But I gotta admit, targeted damage, we have none. 1 Hornbreak is not gonna end us. And in fact, it might even save us. Hellhorned or Stygian? I mean, I know we have Frostbite. Another Titan Shark would be awesome. But Demon Fiend is also great because it's a very nice component for melding into other units, although it does increase your unit capacity size. We have no other units, so it might be a little bit of a waste going to the Merchant of Steel. So we'll go to the Merchant of Magic. We know that we want to upgrade our spells. Spell Chain, Purge, Permafrost, which is very helpful because it'll make something free. And yeah, I think we probably go for the Titan Sentry. If we can make him endless, he can come back infinitely, but it's just a way of weakening units that might die before they actually get up to hit our champion, and I think that is actually quite nice. It's quite important. Our champion, he's a tank, but he dies quickly. We need another tank for our tank. And this can be another floor that's, even if it's just Titan Sentry, that's good enough. So I'll take a Titan Sentry. It doesn't bother me at all. Permafrost on a card will be free the next turn. Gotta say, Ritual of Battle is a very good pick here because it's expensive and that'll be free. So we'll take that. Magic Power and Consume. I'm kind of okay with an Ice Tornado just immediately consuming after one play. Hornbreak would also be kind of nice. You know what? Hold on. A Spell Chain Permafrost can be cast twice for free, one after another. So if we Spell Chain Ice Tornado, then it's 20 damage to a random enemy unit 3 times. And if we Spell Chain Ritual of Battle, it's Rage 10. It's Rage 20 just over the course of 2 turns. That's really good. That is scaling, and Rage is kind of important on Hellhorn units, and if we have anything with Multi-Strike, the Rage is gonna help out a lot. I actually feel like Ritual of Battle with Permafrost and Spell Chain could be a great little combo. It's only 15, let's take it. That doesn't seem that bad. I feel like I've actually, for once, made a good decision. And then Hornbreak, honestly, it doing damage and then discarding or being exhausted is really not that bad. Ideally, it'll kill an annoying enemy unit, and then we'll be able to get the kills ourselves with the other spells that we have in the deck. So I'm okay with Hornbreak getting removed after a play. The other Ritual of Battle would be better to be cheaper, so maybe we'll try to make this cost 1 soon. And then we have a little bit of money left. We could purge a card. I really like saving money, though. Non-boss enemy units get +4 for a draft. We have to get unit drafts. We have good spells though, and we'll probably be okay. That being said, I do kind of like the idea, oh, pardon me, of maybe playing Soul Guard on the top floor, but you know what? Let's just get the Sentry out. We'll get Soul Guard on the mid floor, and now we can kill these guys before they add garbage to our deck, which is at least something. So you get out. You can come out as well, Mr. Train Steward. And it's probably worth more to just incant. Hate that. But a Queen's Impling will kill you, although we will not be able to kill our own imp. Dun 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 dun. Kind of do like a Train Steward here to block some shots. I also like this to block some shots. It saves us 4 damage. What about wiping you with a Hornbreak? Yeah, I kind of like that. You're gonna have to be something we deal with in the future, but we have got other spells. So let's wipe you with a Hornbreak. Probably apply Spell Weakness to you. Queen's Imp to block a shot. Train Steward to also block a shot. And then we'll get the gold with Forgone Power if I can actually mouse up to it correctly. So our Pyre might take 6 damage, but I think we can probably kill the Forged Disciple before they kill us. Although, actually, now that I think about it, you will probably hit the Pyre once. Maybe we should have applied a little bit of Frostbite to you in particular, because you are gonna get up, I think. 10 damage, 5 damage, 6 damage. You know what? I can kill you. I'll probably discard Ritual of Battle, but it will save the Pyre. So Queen's Imp to do 10 damage. Queen's Imp also blocks a shot. Train Steward does a little bit of damage. That does a little bit of damage, you're dead. Do need more spells, but you know what? Honestly, that'll do it. We'll have less energy for the next turn, but we've got a lot of Frostbite coming, so I'm actually kind of happy with this. As long as I'm killing the units and taking no pyre damage, we can take as long as it takes to do this. So Sap is very good. All we need to do though is stall for 1 turn, and then you die, because you have 118 Frostbite, so that should do it. I'll even drain you, although I don't know if that really accomplishes much. Accomplished enough. Any spell would have probably done it, actually. Crypt Builder, Energy Siphon, Helical Crystallis. Crypt Builder is nice if you can discard it. Nothing here is frozen by default. I like our Ice Tornado, I like our Hornbreak, I like our Holdover Ritual of Battle for Rage. I think this might be a bit of a skip. I'm wary about adding too many spells. Units are far more important, I feel. Now, I do love Event. Plus 10 magic power and piercing is great. Plus 30 magic power on top of that. Plus holdover, anything with holdover on Event. Maybe we can get some kills with this. Now, we could double down on the Ritual of Battle, but we have multiples of those already in the deck. Event, it's not targeted damage, but it might be just as good. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, Titan Sentry with even more Frostbite. We might even be able to get the Titan Sentry endless, at which point a sentry in a sentry that's endless is insanely great for sweep clearing. There's a Silo Fight, and Quick is very good on the Silo Fight, but we could also just get endless. And the Alpha Fiend, Strike plus 5 is pretty good with Multi-Strike. But at least for now, I know we're going a little bit heavy on the tanks, but man, is it not good to have just like sentry on a sentry on a sentry. It protects you so well while you rage up anyways. Alpha Fiend's a little big. Action applies spell weakness 1 to enemy units. You don't even have to attack. I don't really love Silo Fight as a sweeper. It just doesn't do enough damage. If you're talking about normal Seraph fighting, yeah, 1, you can just bump that up to 5 damage and then that's enough to kill units. But because it's Divinity and you've got to hit 25 damage, it's actually hard to do with the sweep. But for the Frostbite, it's a lot easier. So I'm gonna take a Titan Sentry, another one, and if we meld them later, we meld them later, who cares? Now this is also tempting to just like Hellvent. We have frozen cards, so like a double frozen Ritual of Battle is totally playable. Another Hornbreak is pretty good, just to kill things. But we need units, so let's go for some units. More sweeps, huh? Well, I mean, we can take one and then dump it if we don't get Quick, but like we would need Quick and Large Stone, which I guess is not that bad. We'd have to have, well no, because we would have to have Quick, Large Stone, and then plus 10 damage on top of it unless we have a Unit Essence. But are we really gonna roll with like no units except Frost Tanks? Is that even like a viable strategy? I mean, we've got Rage. Technically a sweeper could work. We've got Rage. Okay, I'll take a Cold Celia. We'll see how this works. Press a button, build a card. Sure. If we could armor up our champion or tanks, let them live a little bit longer, that'll be quite nice. It's gonna be an armor, a heal, and then push to the back or descend, or ascend for that matter. Probably a descend, because then we can keep a unit on the bottom floor or just lower an enemy unit if we really want to. It'll armor them and heal them, but they'll still take more damage. Yeah, descend feels a little bit easier to work around, I think. Apply armor 10, restore 20 health, descend the unit. If they're at the bottom floor, they don't descend anyway, so that seems okay. And then, if we have 2 Titan Sharks, it's either another Ritual of Battle or another Horn Break. Give me the Rage. It does dupe, but you know what? It's actually a very good card. It's free times 2. We'll take it. I mean, honestly, if our champion can survive long enough and do enough damage, it's like able to get enough kills on its own, it feels like. So, you're gonna hit for 10 and daze immediately. It's probably not even worth playing Soul Guard up there, so we'll probably play Soul Guard here. In fact, it might even be worth playing him on the same floor as a Titan Sentry. I don't know, but what's the point in doing that? I guess to keep everything out on one floor, but then we can't imp. Okay, so you know what? Titan Sentry goes here. Soul Guard goes here. You're gonna gain a little bit of armor, and then you're gonna tank 2 shots. Everything still dies, we take 10 damage, which is just the armor. Daze doesn't really matter, does it? Now, quick sweep. You're not a quick sweep, you're just a slow sweep. You'll go here. You'll go here, leaves us room for an imp. And I know we're not getting, well, that's annoying. We're not getting the rage out, but we have 2 rage cards that are played 4 times and free. We're kind of just waiting on those. If I put Frostbite on you, you'll die as you move up. There's no problem with that. So, let's just do that. You'll die when you move up. I'm not even gonna play the vent. I don't wanna ruin the spell weakness on the boss. Okay, Ice Tornado will be free next turn. You're dead. You 2 are not quite dying, but that is a good Ice Tornado on the next turn, because it'll be free. So you're dying. I mean, I'd prefer if you didn't die. Goodbye, Ice Tornado. But if there's not much we can do about that, there's not much we can do about that, huh? Eight Frostbite. You might die next turn anyways. We've got spells, we've got imps, we've got drains, we got a horn break. Let's not play anything on the top floor. That Ember Drain is really annoying to deal with. It's not like we're Umbra and we can just play a morsel up there and then gorge it. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. We might also lose a Ritual of Battle here, but I think in order to save the pyre, it's probably worth it. It's because if we drain you, you'll not hurt the pyre. So we did lose one. But then this one will be free. So, buff up. This one's immediately free? That's awesome. I did not realize it would be free instant-freakintaneously. Also, now you're dead. You're not quite dead? That'll kill you. Just to kill you immediately is nice. And by immediately, I mean just on the bottom floor. Taking 311 damage. I have a feeling that we'll probably be okay. You're dead. Goodbye, Ice Tornado. The random discarding from the sap card, kind of a little awkward. We didn't even take damage on our champion, which is, I don't know if that's a good sign. It's a weird sign. Apply Fragile and Multi-Strike. I mean, if we can freeze it, it's perfectly playable. And if we can freeze it and give armor to a unit, we might be able to keep them alive and then stack up Multi-Strike. Like, I'm thinking if we have a lot of rage, all of a sudden this could be used to enable that rage to do a lot of damage. It's gonna suck on certain enemies, yeah, but maybe we can keep them alive. We have some armor cards, rather one armor card. I'm gonna take it. You never know if it's gonna be playable. Now, okay, let's see. A Demon Fiend is pretty good. It only buffs the capacity by 1, huh? I think you gotta take it. Because if you can make a quick sweeper, then all of a sudden, they keep your frost units alive a little bit longer. Is this really just gonna be a frost deck? Look, I have no idea. I'm just trying, okay? And I think we want draw. We want to get to our frozen cards way faster. Energy's not much of a problem if everything is free thanks to that Talon. And I think we do want to look at unit upgrades now, because if we get a good unit upgrade, we're gonna want it. Endless, large stone, quick. Multi-strike doesn't really fit on anything. I mean, it's possible that we could actually get the Demon Fiend out as a unit, but with 4 energy, I don't think we can actually get to 4 energy. So, yeah, we'll just, we'll see what we get. Spell Chain. I mean, again, a Spell Chain Ice Tornado is 2 Ice Tornadoes, but we have better spells, I think. The Rage. Endless. So that's gonna go on a Titan Shark with plus 25 HP, and then all of a sudden, it might not be able to kill every unit that makes it up, but it'll kill a lot of them. So I think we need this to happen. And then we'll re-roll. And we did get quick, so we will actually be able to make a good quick Cold Celia with the Demon Fiend inside of it. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm extremely happy about this. This means that we kind of have everything that we want, at least initially. We'll take a look at this Hellhorned banner, see what we get. Strike melee weakness is, it's good. I just don't see us having really a big physical damage build. Mostly it's just the frostbite stacking, which is great. And then the damage on our quick sweeper, who will get a whole bunch of rage, because we're gonna put the rage on Cold Celia. Yeah, we're definitely gonna put the rage on Cold Celia. Cold Celia with a endless Titan Shark, and then we'll rage her up. If anything makes it through, hopefully they get just insane frostbite from our Soul Guard. And that might be enough, honestly. That might be enough. We might even play Cold Celia on the top floor just to make sure that nothing gets through, so that we can buff her rage as much as possible. Branded Warrior is just garbage. Although, admittedly, a Branded Warrior inside of Cold Celia is funny, but unfortunately, I don't think she's gonna be able to get a lot of kills that way. Although now that I think about it, no, we're gonna play enough rage on her. I think we're okay to skip this one. But I think we do need to meld here. So we're gonna meld the Demon Fiend inside of the Cold Celia, and that should hopefully be enough. 3 capacity, but a 3145 quick, and we might even be able to give her multi-strike in the future, and I think that's what we probably want to look for. And this is possibly a unit worth duplicating in the future too. Two Titan Sharks, 1 Titan Frost Champion, lots of Cold Celias, multi-strike on top of them. Could be worth a lot. Okay, so let's move on. We've got good units, admittedly. The imps, maybe not so much. Enemy units start on each floor, no problem at all. So a Soul Guard and an Energy Siphon gets a kill on everything on the top floor. Perfect. Could even use a Queen's Imp, and we'll take the same amount of damage but without Ember Drain. We're gonna hold on to the Ice Tornado anyway, so you might as well. And then Titan Sentry can just go here and ice these guys. So yeah, give me an Imp. Actually, we take less damage doing it like this. You do have haste, but I've got an Ice Tornado saved up. And now we've got our quick out. tanky, capable of surviving on her own for like 1 turn, if we need her to. Good tank in front, enough capacity for everything. 1 energy. You have spikes, which is like the highly annoying thing about this, because you're just gonna hit the pyre a bunch of times, but otherwise this floor is pretty much toast. But because everything is going so well, I really think what we should do is Ice Tornado just to make sure that you die faster, and then could sap you. I think we'll just imp. I don't want to discard the rage because it's a good card to play. Yeah, the untargetable discards are kind of annoying. So we took a little bit of damage. It's not that bad. And we have Fragile, which maybe we could put on Cold Celia, but we have to make this a lot cheaper. Or freeze it. But I do like this. Plus 40 damage. It's not bad at all. Vent. You might as well vent for 4. Although this enemy might make it up. We've got a couple of cards that can deal with them. I mean, heck, if we have to, we can just put 20 damage on our champion. Taking 33, Frostbite 6 plus another 1, Frostbite 7, you'll take 40. Why is this expensive now? Is it just me or are there weird inconsistencies? Oh, you know what? It wasn't... We drew this immediately. That's what happened. Okay, so save it in our hand. It's not inconsistent. I thought it was already free. We just drew it. It's not free. Now it's free. So you're gonna get the buff. You need the HP. Horn Break, might as well get a kill on that one. Although we could have buffed our ritual damage a little bit more. You're hitting me? No, you're not. You're doing 14 damage. You're actually dead. Embarrassing. You're getting a lot of frostbite. We need that relic that increases the amount of frostbite given. That'd be awesome. So we took 6 damage. Not that bad. Now, Hoarfrost is interesting. We have so much frostbite, we have to take it. We can use it, in theory, to specifically target tanky enemies with additional frostbite. It's not amazing, but with holdover it could be pretty good, but it's also just a good card. Put -2 on this for 1 energy, it's totally playable. We kind of, I think we have a lot of damage spells now. That might be not an important part of our deck. Ascend a unit and apply daze too. We could build 1 big floor. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like Tiresome Climb because eventually, if we hit Relentless, we might want Cold Celia behind Soul Guard. Being able to ascend Cold Celia would be nice. This is the only ascend. You know what? No, we're Hellhorn, right? So that we could just get a normal ascend without the daze. But it's also, it's a daze if you want. It dazes them. It's good. Just thinking, I'm just thinking. Got 2 Titan Sentries. We can always meld one inside of the other and then duplicate them if we want to. That would be 40 pack shards for 1 endless Titan Sentry. Might not be worth it, but it would double the frostbite. But we can also play, you know, our champion on the top floor. Although they'll get swept, which is annoying, and they won't have a tank in front of them, but... The health of our units is very low, I will fully admit to that. I don't think we should take an imp card. The imps are just here to die, and in fact, if we can just dump them out of the deck, I'm okay with that. So it's Tiresome Climb is pretty good. I feel like I'm almost always gonna have a reason to play it, especially if we can make it cheaper, which we can probably do right now. Our units are actually like really okay. Multi-strike and another endless would be good to fish for. And we could remove 2 cards and get more cash, and then We wouldn't be able to upgrade, we'd only have 2 spell upgrades in the future, and one of them is on the opposite side of the hell vent, so we can't duplicate cards. I think we should probably go to the Merchant of Magic now. But we're probably gonna go to this Merchant of Magic. I mean, we wanna upgrade spells a lot. Let's go over here to the right. Remove consume, cost 1 more. I mean, that's unplayable without it being frosty, so we can't really do that. Plus 10 magic power, restore 30 health. I mean, a vent that does 10 is not that bad. It's also not that good, but at least here it's, you know, playable. Spell cost -1, probably put that on Hoarfrost. I know I'm talking about One Horn's Tome, but like, cards that relate to the frost feel more important, especially if they are, you know, doubling the damage that we're doing. But maybe a 1 cost Ritual of Battle is good as well. We're gonna put another upgrade, so we can wait. Now Permafrost, that's what we want on One Horn's Tome. Now it's playable. I feel like I'm getting very lucky with some of these. Just give me more damage on the vent, and then give me a 1 cost. Give me a 1 cost. We're always gonna play that when it shows up anyways. Give me a 1 cost Rage. And see what we get. Rare Awoken, Rare Melting, Rare Umbra. Awoken is like a big heal. Melting is like Reformation. Umbra's Morsels. Give me Awoken. Consume quick, consume draw unit, and apply +20/+20. I mean, quick is quite good, but we already have it. Draw unit and apply 20/20 is really nice if we draw one of our premier units, but if we just draw an imp with it, it's just kind of just gonna get yeeted and then killed immediately. Restore unit to full health and then swap attack and health. There is a reason to take this. If you buff attack with rage, it counts for transferring. So if we give our unit 200 damage and then swap, they'll have 200 HP, and then the rage will still affect their normal damage. So honestly, I kind of feel like Adaptive Mutation could be like a great trump card. If you can buff your rage enough and then constantly play that Adaptive Mutation over and over again, you can actually get it to just absurd values. Now it consumes, but if we remove consume and apply frostbite, it's replayable. I think it's interesting enough to at least take. Non-boss units get +6. We have endless units and great tanks. I think we can do this. Let's give it a shot. We'd like to get our tanks as early as possible, of course. And if we not, hey, we've got a quick sweeper who's actually gonna murder everything anyways, so there you go. And you know what? There you go. And then Soul Guard. Soul Guard! I know it costs us 1 energy next turn, but also at the same time, like, who cares? So you're taking 20 damage. Might be worth letting you take 20 so we can get a sentry out in the middle, but a Queen's Imp will also get the kill. Yeah, let's do it like this. Actually, a Vent will do it for 0. Yeah, okay, so we'll play Old Magic for the armor, Vent for 0. I'm realizing something about this, which is that Soul Guard never gets incanted. He's just kind of here. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't even do anything! So you're the Endless Shark. I'd rather you not hit me for 20. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. Well, I guess we could use an imp. But if I do it like this, I can actually like play a spell up here. If we have a Cold Celia, we should really have Soul Guard be the tank, but this Titan Sentry is so much better at it because they're endless. Well, rather, this one is. I just find myself not actually playing the spells up here because it just doesn't seem like there's a reason to. So, Adaptive Mutation is not quite good enough yet. You're taking 17 damage. You're gonna make it up quite a bit. Let's keep One Horn's Tome because I want to play it next turn. If there's no spikes, I absolutely want to play it right here just so we get at least one double damage hit. Can't really buff your own attack. Actually, I'm realizing something. If we play this, it'll actually it'll cause us to deal way less damage because we're actually hitting twice right now. Yeah, so if we play this, we'll die way faster. Well, actually, we'll still hit twice. You have 12 damage, huh? I'm like, okay, how do I kill you? I can do 20 more damage. You'll take 48 instead of 24. If I played Train Steward, I can't play the Ritual of Battle. Can swap you and then kill you. Can't swap you and kill you, unfortunately. Can't make you fragile. Can we kill this boss immediately? No. So I think the Pyre is gonna take 14 damage, and I hate it. I can do 48 damage. No, wait a minute. I can do 48 damage, which is gonna be 49 damage. And then another 6. Which will be 55 damage, which will actually be 56 damage. I can get you down to 1 HP, I think. Is that right? Rage 10, 20, buff the damage by 21 because of the fact that we shard and reflect. You know what? Because we hit spikes, we actually do reflect 2 points of damage instead of 1. This actually does get the kill. No, it doesn't. I thought I had the math perfect. But if we take damage, doesn't that mean that you'll get hurt more? No? Oh, come on. I got ripped off. How come we didn't do more damage on the shard by getting hit and revenging? We damaged ourselves on the spikes. I don't know. I don't understand it at all. By the way, you're probably all gonna die, but you know what? We'll give it a shot here. So 2 imps is actually quite nice here. 2 imps and a drain, probably the best we can possibly hope for. Really hope we live through this, by the way. You're taking 108 damage, but I don't know how we're gonna kill you on the top floor. Just hope for a massive amount of frostbite, really. Or an endless Titan Shark, you know, that works well too. So you know what? We play this first, then this. You're taking 447 damage, 459 damage. Oh, 447, that did less? Well, you did 48 damage to the Pyre, plus the additional 14 that we took earlier. That was horrible. Preserve is a great card, though. Okay, and Inferno is also a great card. If we can get this thing holdover piercing, we can kill the bottom floor immediately. Our deck is 37 cards. It's kind of getting absurd, but it's 37 good cards with the exception of us unable to kill single targets like bosses. If you ignore that, we're actually, you know, great. So Hellvent, duplication. Gotta admit, duplicating Preserve is great. We have a lot of cards that we would like to play, not a lot of energy to play them, but preserving means that we can just freeze them and play them on a future turn. And then we can also remove some cards too. I still don't know how this is gonna scale into the late game. I don't know how this is gonna play out against Divinity. I know he cleanses all of his Frostbite every single turn, but I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? I kind of like being able to heal the Pyre, because we kind of need it, so I'll take Bone Dog. Plus 30 magic power. That's too much. That's pretty good. That's too much. Do we need to meld essences? No, we only have imps. I mean, we could meld a Titan Sentry into a Titan Sentry and make a Super Titan Sentry. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, is not a bad idea. 2 of them is nice, but we really only want 2 floors that do Sentry-related things anyways. So to make 1 tank and 1 Cold Celia, it's probably what we want. Something to be said though for, I don't know, this seems okay. It's 25 pack shards to meld. We can meld later. We don't need to do it right now. Let's not worry about it. And plus 30 magic power on like an ice tornado. Nah. So duplication. I think we do duplicate Preserve. It's a great card. It synergizes with the freezing ability that we have. Oh my god, we're on Arcus already? Oh, good lord. Look, I'm hopeful. That's all I'm gonna say. If we can freeze the correct cards, we got a chance. Okay. You do need to die quickly. We can kill you pretty quickly. You're incanting, so we're not gonna incant up there. Titan Sentry taking 6 damage, who cares? It's the endless one as well. So Cold Celia, Titan Sentry. I can Soul Guard up here, I don't mind. We'll lose 1 energy, but who cares? We have free cards next turn too. And you are Death. We're not gonna have, no one's gonna die. No one's gonna die on us. So another Titan Sentry, you might as well go out. Here's a question. Will you ever get hit by spikes? I'm gonna give you Double Strike and Fragility. I wanna see how this works on you. We're gonna buff the crap out of you. We're gonna keep buffing the crap out of you. And we're gonna keep buffing the crap out of you. And now all of a sudden, we're taking no damage, which is pretty freaking sick, if you don't mind me saying so. And it might not be the best way of getting multi-strike, but hey, it's working. So Bone Dog, we're just gonna immediately freeze this and get free Pyre healing for the rest of combat. You've gotta die, that's a free card. You have 5 Frostbite, you know what? Now you got 10. We have to remove a lot of cards from our deck, but this is fine for now. Taking 192 damage. These units they're not dying immediately, but they're dying pretty quickly. If we have nothing else, we might just want to spend this on Ritual of Battle. Like, what else are we gonna do with our turn? Play Vent? Play Forgotten Power and maybe discard the Bone Dog? I'd rather not. So, because there's no incant on the floor, I guess we'll just do this. I mean, I suppose, like, if we're fighting Divinity, if we just do enough damage, Cold Celia will kill everything anyways, right? So don't incant. You have 2 shard. Our champion has done, like, nothing. We've kind of ignored our champion up to this point, and I think that's acceptable. Our champion doesn't matter, it feels. Just end turn. All of our eggs are in this one basket, and if we ever get hit by a freaking single stack of spikes, we'll probably die. We can give 10 armor to our unit, that's it. I didn't play anything. That being said, there's nothing to play. Don't incant on that floor, all right. I guess, dude, I don't know. Just like preserve energy siphon. We're healing quite nicely with this bone dog. And so yeah, you can see adaptive mutation would give us 139 HP and 153 damage. It would raise our damage very slightly, which is what you would want it to do, but without the fragility, ideally. So there's a play there. There's a possible play that you can use. If we do that, it will buff our damage output, which is probably worth more than one Ice Tornado. We can just play that on a future turn. Yeah, you're almost dead. I'm so surprised that this is working. The fragility it's dangerous, but the multi-strike is so useful. Yeah, don't kill him, let the bone dog do its work. Fragility is just so dangerous, but the multi-strike is so useful. Spike of the Hellhorn could give us a little bit of armor, almost none. We might want to take energy, but I'm loving the draw. I am loving this draw. Not having any armor gain is so dangerous. I think I'm gonna skip. Like, I understand the value of the spike. Do we really have the energy to make it work? Not really. We could hold it and then maybe apply it for a little bit of armor and rage in the future, but our deck is getting mighty thick. I'd rather thin out the deck a little bit. Take draw again. We really need relics too. We only have one, and we are leaning into this Titan's Claw like it is our lifeblood. We're also doing like no concealed caverns, but gotta admit, I just really want to get like a holdover or something. So we'll go and upgrade our spells, see what we get. Let's not worry about removal. Spell chain intrinsic. Double stack cost one more. It's multi-strike 2. If we can play it, we have to try. And then, spell costing less. Hoarfrost can cost 1. That's fine. Permafrost. I mean, here's the thing, it's a card that we want in our hand, basically at all times, so there's Bone Dog. Making something cheaper. We can always just freeze Inferno. I'm surprised by how well this is working so far. Old Magic can be free. I'd rather it not consume though. Ice Tornado could consume because once we actually get our rage out, I don't think we really need this. Deck is getting mighty thick, so that is why we need some removal. And now what the heck are we gonna do about the Divine Temple here? I haven't even thought about that. If we go to upgrade our units, maybe we can get some sort of armor gain on Cold Celia here. Even an Incant armor would be like enough for the multi-strike to really apply. If we replicate cards, we could replicate another Ritual of Battle for even more rage gain. We should probably meld a Sentry into a Sentry at that point, coming up next. So that's 25, that is 50 pack shards if we want it coming up. Is there anything that we would rather have now, intrinsic or spell chain? I mean, other than like, if I had holdover, Ice Tornado would be great. We could always preserve it and then hopefully play it in the future, but a card in our hand at the beginning of combat? Or a spell chain, you can play a card twice. Preserve twice is nice because we can play it every other turn. Yeah. And then we have, as far as units go, we could put a sentry and a sentry. Then we only have 2 floors of tanks, which is probably a little bit more efficient. And then we could replicate whatever we want afterwards. I really like the idea of the spell chain preserve. We do draw 7 cards per turn, so it doesn't take us that long to get through the deck, but to be able to hold on to Adaptive Mutation, or Inferno, or whatever, it's quite nice. Although if we freeze this, it'll be free twice. If we spell chain it. So we could spell chain Inferno and then hold Preserve. It's actually not a bad idea. That would do it. Okay, let's do that. Spell chain Inferno. This is a little bit spendy, but then we'll intrinsic Preserve. That way, if we get, whenever we get Inferno, we can always play it twice for free, even if we just wait long enough. So we'll take Frostbite 2. We're gonna try to make this work. We don't have holdover. Actually, you know what? A spell chain on Hoarfrost could have been okay, but we don't have it. So Spell Shield, it's really not a problem because we're not really playing too many spells, and we have one spell that we can use to bypass Spell Shield, and we have a couple spells, but it's our units. Our unit is what kills all the weak enemies, and we can totally do this, I hope. Say that all the time, huh? We will probably start on floor 2 though here, but if we do that, we can't put our tank. So you know what? You're just gonna have to go out. Have fun. Have a good time, taking 46 damage. Yeah, I know, sucks, doesn't it? Sucks, don't it? Oh, it got rid of the wrong card. It got rid of the wrong card again. That's fine, that's fine. Cold Celia needs to go out. We're losing a couple of units, and we've done 0 damage to you, which is a big problem. That being said, you will still die next turn. Because we have free cards coming up. And this is the reason why I put Consume on this one. So there's our good tank. Tanks you. So 2 spell shield. It's 240 damage. It's pretty good. Literally 1 imp kills you, so we'll do that. You're still making it up, but I'll deal with you next turn. Okay. Things are looking up a little bit. Ah. Hornbreak's pretty good. Doesn't quite get the kill, but it gets really close. Could always Inferno you. Har har. We do want to preserve the Inferno at the very least. Yeah, it seems appropriate. And then this is still good damage, even though we can't put more stuff on you, more frost. At this point, you're probably gonna get it. You're probably gonna hit the pyre once, I think. $30. Yeah, you'll hit the pyre once. I'm okay taking 11 damage. You're a bit of a problem. You, I can buff our stats immediately. Might be worth waiting for this to cycle back around though and just keep applying the rage. We can only play Adaptive Mutation once. Gotta find a way to work on them, to use the middle floor more, but Cold Celia doesn't fit. Cold Celia might end up being a top floor unit, even though, but if we do that on the final boss, the Fragility will be impossible to play. But to have an open spot for Inferno, it would be real nice. Ascend and apply daze too? You know what? You sold me. Then, this one's not frozen. I see the problem. But it is free. At least it is free now. I imagine it'll stay free. I hope it'll stay free. But because it wasn't permafrosted, it didn't stay permafrosted, but it did stay frozen. Very interesting. Very interesting. Our Pyre is doing all right. We did draw Inferno. Should probably just hold it. No reason not to. We should always incant up here. Our champion sucks. I have realized my problem there. Pyre's healing. Taking 957 damage. That's fantastic. It's just not, almost not enough. But we're getting there. 966. Buff. Now, double multi-strike is pretty good. It's probably worth more playing it than not playing it. You're dead. Fantastic. We're not dying by one hit, but it's good enough. So leave Bone Dog, he'll heal us a little bit more. You are dead. But we still can't put any armor on that unit. Spell weakness 2, Incant Frostbite, apply daze when enemy units discard your hand. Incant Frostbite 2 to enemy units. Not what we want. Skip this, we gotta thin out the deck. Branding Right I like, because in theory, we can Branding Right Cold Celia and then apply the armor, and then that'll keep her alive for a little bit. But we really want to One Horns Tome her faster than I think that can apply. Now, Old Magic, if we can get 10 armor on her, might be enough. But I'm actually thinking maybe what we want to do is build up Cold Celia on the top floor and then descend her down. That way we can overcapacity the second floor. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. It's gonna be hard to make happen. But then if we could also, well, I say that because then we could use Inferno. It's a card that we can actually play on the bottom floor. I think I'm gonna take another Inferno. Because if we descend Cold Celia, the middle floor is okay. And I think we need to go left to upgrade units. Cold Celia, I mean, if we give her multi-strike, we might not need to play the multi-strike card. And we may or may not meld the sentries, but this gives us the opportunity to remove more cards and duplicate a card. Duplicate the important cards, really. Like, for instance, we really do not care about imps. They are extreme trash. Admittedly, the Forgotten Powers are also trash because of the fact that they discard cards that I don't want to discard, so I'm pretty much never playing those. Merchant costs are reduced, a little late. Rage does not decay. We add it so fast that doesn't matter. Melee weakness on the first turn, and daze is good. Let's see what we got here. Multi-strike. Very good, very good. Quick. Now Incant, oh man, maybe Incant would have actually been better. You can't, you can't risk that though. Like you gotta try, right? No. You gotta give her multi-strike. What about a second Cold Celia? What about a second Cold Celia and you put her on the top floor? And then you have two Cold Celias that are hitting the boss. Well, you can't really fit her on the top floor. You can fit her on the bottom, and then if she dies, you've got a backup. Like, she can kill the weak enemies for the first couple of turns, and the one in the middle can start balling out of control. And then we'll have 2 floors of 2 sweepers. I like it a lot. What is our buff here? Spell chain. We already have a spell chain on an Inferno, right? Dude, do it again. Anytime you can freeze these is gonna be amazing. Or even spell chain intrinsic preserve so that you can actually freeze your cards. Because we have a spell chain Inferno already, but a spell chain preserve means we can actually preserve more cards to play. Which is very good. And then if we take that, we can also duplicate something, and it would probably be Cold Celia, which adds another 15. We'll have 2 sweepers in case one of them dies, and we can put multi-strike on one with the book and see if we can keep her alive. Or just save the book for, like, Relentless. Damage is such a freaking problem with this, but I still kind of like it. Oh my god. I'm gonna do it. I am. It's already been done. And then spell chain, put that on preserve. 105 pack shards, there you go. Merchant, melee weakness 1 to floor enemy units. We kill them fast enough that it's probably not that important to have, although we will still get hit on the first turn of combat for the most part. I think we want to reroll and look for something better and then spend on purging. Consume as played, deal damage. We do consume a lot of cards. Not too many. Silence is golden, but I think we're just gonna purge. Just gonna purge. I'll pay for that just because it's super cheap, but then we need to get rid of Imps and Forgone Powers. Forgone Powers, probably the first to go. A little too expensive. I should not have purged, or I should not have bought one upgrade for incanting, but, well, there's our deck. Weirdo Frostbite. We have 1 Hoarfrost, and here's hoping for the best. Hopefully we just do a lot of damage with the rage to murder our final boss. So what's gonna be the strategy here? The strategy is gonna be put a tank on the second floor, descend Cold Celia, you'll have another Cold Celia for the top floor, and then you'll have another tank somewhere that you can play if you need to. But ideally, Cold Celia down here is gonna just murder everything. And in fact, you can lower 2 Cold Celias if you really want to. So I think what we should do is put our units on the top floor first. We've got a lot of cards in hand, but this stuff can sit for a bit. We'll probably play this just to murder those guys and stop garbage being added from our deck. Problem is that I feel like I'm never gonna actually incant Frostbite Soulguard the Martyr, but you might as well do it like this, right? I don't mind that consuming. Now, do we have a Descend? We do have a Descend, that's perfect. So we put the Titan Shark down. I'm okay playing this as well, to consume. We move down a Cold Celia, and then we want to try to murder you as quickly as possible. So honestly, we're taking no damage, and then you're dead. Sounds good to me. And honestly, probably dump the, well, let's dump the Queen Imp as opposed to the Hornbreak, because you're probably gonna live a little bit longer. That's frozen, that's frozen. We could freeze Hornbreak, but I'm looking for other cards. We need to incant once up here. We'll incant once up here. In fact, there you go. We're taking damage, but at least that's, you know, been dealt with. We could put a sentry up there to tank damage for our champion, but then we can't play Cold Celia. We did duplicate Cold Celia. And you know what? We actually did purge our Descender. That's right. Still, I think we're fine. Rage needs to be played. You have 10 armor. I actually feel like this is an okay time to give you Infinity Multi-Strike because none of these units are gonna have spikes. None of them. So you're murdering everything right now, which is amazing. Then, let's put another Titan Sentry down. Gets it out of our hand. Then, let's preserve that Inferno. And actually, because Preserve was frozen, even though it's spell chained, it's also free. How cool is that? Okay, you have Spell Shield and Stealth, you're taking essentially no damage. Understood. This would be a good opportunity for Hoarfrost to give you a whole bunch of frost, but that'll happen on its own at some point. We don't need to buff your rage anymore. We're gonna play Cold Celia up here. And then honestly, I am looking at this like, what about a sweet ass Inferno? It's gonna consume. What do we want to consume? We have 2 preserves. I'm okay consuming one of them because we have one. So let's consume, we'll play it up here. Consume to freeze this Inferno, and then we'll play an Inferno in order to save this Inferno for a future turn. Because these units are gonna die when they move up anyways. So now we have protection from the lower floor, 2 Infernos that are gonna be free. Ritual Battle is playable next turn, twice. And we have a Sentry that we can play if we need to, but that's like completely optional. And we have a Tiresome Climb we can just play in order to purge it if we want. We might not even wanna play the Titan Sentry because it's gonna cost us 1 energy every turn. We might just wanna play like an Inferno. And this is the frozen one. I don't know if playing this will remove Consume, but you might as well try it. It does remove Consume, so now we can play this. And then play this. And then probably, I don't care if the Pirate takes 1 damage, we got Bone Dog. Probably dump an Imp. Cards are fine. 10 cards in hand, turns out it's kind of nice. Consume, apply melee, or apply spell weakness, I'll do it. You still are stealth for 1 turn, which is stupid, because it means I can't actually do anything to you. But we can at least keep gaining rage. I have a feeling that this drain is gonna become particularly important, so I'm gonna try to start that process. Deals 5 damage to the front enemy unit. I'd like to keep your armor up even a little bit more, but I can't really do that right now, can I? That'll work. So keep Inferno. If you don't have to play it, keep it in hand. That way you don't have to draw it next turn. Or, not next turn, but in the future. I'm finally hitting you, and I'm hitting you for 509 damage. That's pretty decent. So, Hornbreak should probably be played. We don't want it, so I kind of want it to be purged. We also probably don't need the Inferno, but this is an okay start, and this is an okay time to play it down here. Then, Ritual of Battle, taking 589. We don't have to live that long in order to kill you, and if we can Hoarfrost at the correct moment, we can really increase your frostbite by a lot. Speaking of, why don't we get this out there? And then why don't we preserve Armor 2 or more Frostbite? Why don't we preserve Hoarfrost? $16 Frostbite. Adaptive Mutation. Super dangerous, isn't it? I haven't even given you any rage yet. I'm sorry. Oops. I guess if I buff your rage enough, I can swap your health to give you more. I can swap your 2 stats to give you even more health, but that's like real hard to do. Tiresome Climb. Doesn't matter, no one's gonna live to make it up. You're doing 14 times 3. We don't have sap in hand. Hoarfrost we can play next turn. We're not gonna shuffle. Inferno's not worth playing. Preserve has nothing really to preserve except for Adaptive Mutation will still give us more damage in the future. So we could pop that to preserve it. We do need to discard cards, so I am thinking let's go ahead and do that. 14 times 3. 16 times 3. I'm actually thinking we incant for a little bit more armor gain too. And then, is there a card that I can get rid of? I don't want to double your Frostbite at 16. I want to do it when we have more Frostbite to double. Maybe even on the top floor after you get through this guy. Because we've got Cold Celia and a freaking Frost Shark tank. Kind of hate to say it, but we might just want to get this out of here. I guess we could ascend you so you don't hit this sentry, but like that doesn't matter at all. You don't matter, I'm quick. I guess I could ascend you and then daze you twice. That's also a possibility. We won't get the Ritual of Battle damage, but we'll get 2 attacks for free, which will allow us to do 600 damage and then... In fact, we might want to ascend you next turn. We might want to ascend you now, in fact. Yeah, that way we can get you on the top floor behind all of our tanks doing even more damage, and it's only a daze 2. So you know what, Cold Celia? Welcome to the top floor. We can put another tank here too when he dies next turn. So we descended Cold Celia early and now we're ascending her late. But I think it actually does work. She'll be undazed by the time this guy makes it up. And these guys are making it up, but I can just put a little bit of rage on you to keep everything alive. How weird, how weird. She's taking 39 damage. Taking 89 damage. It's not a lot at all. In fact, it's like a horrible amount of damage, but whatever. You get rage. You get raged again. You get raged again. Now you're both dying, which is fantastic. Keep Hoarfrost. You know, if I can rage you again and then Adaptive Mutation you will gain the health out of this. So keep that as well. Dump this. End turn. We want to apply as much Frostbite as possible, then we'll double it. You're taking 2,600 damage. I do have a Ritual of Battle. I do have Adaptive Mutation for free. So what the heck do you do here? I think if you Ritual of Battle the second and then swap the health, it will gain another hit, which will probably be enough to kill you. So it's gonna be this. Not quite enough, but then you do this, and now you're dead. So we're actually gonna make it. To my unbelievable surprise, we are going to make it to the divinity fight. And I will admit, I actually am thinking that we probably do not want to put the multi-strike on. I feel like that's such a risk. We have 1 relic. Gains 7 attack during Relentless. That's frightening. Tiresome climb. Well, we could build 1 big top floor kind of immediately, but I don't really want to. 10 damage sweep is kind of a little bit hard to deal with. In fact, what we'll probably do is just build 1 super floor right here. But we do need, like, I really hate this because I really have no idea where to place my units. I didn't draw a Cold Celia on the first turn. That's never happened before. I don't think. So if we put a Titan Sentry down here, you know, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3. We can do 15 damage, which is enough to kill the Wiltwing in the back that does explode. But that's all we're doing on this floor, if we do that. And the Titan Sentry will probably die momentarily afterwards. If we start here, we can freeze Tiresome Climb and then ascend a Cold Celia, but then they're not attacking and these guys are still gonna make it through with damage shield. Well, no, they're gonna lose a damage shield, but... Slay gain damage shield. Extinguish. We start on the top floor. We'll have 6 turns before we freaking die. Is that enough to do damage with Cold Celia? Probably not. So we can start on the 2nd floor, but again, how do you play Cold Celia? I guess you don't play Cold Celia. What you could do is just freeze all your units. That doesn't really help you at all, because you still have to find a way to place all your units here. I guess you could start with the Sentry and then descend Cold Celia like we did last time, but we don't have the descend card. We can wait and then get it later. We have 2 Cold Celias. It's actually not a bad idea. We can't build down the middle floor. That's going to be Inferno later. I'd like to build on the top floor, but the sweep makes it so dangerous. So we have to build on the middle with the lower capacity, which means we have to play a Titan Sentry here. Or here and we accept that it dies. Either one. So I think you play it here and accept that it dies. We got another one. And then I think you do play Soul Guard here. Because we have to put a tank on this floor. I guess you could preserve Soul Guard. Like, you literally just don't play your units on this turn and then you wait for the next turn. It's a little wonky, but it kind of works. Do we want damage shield to be given? Not really. But I can play you imp in the back. You're actually living, which is kind of hilarious. But if we draw Cold Celia, this is fine. Okay, we drew Cold Celia and Old Magic. So, Cold Celia, we actually don't have Rage. And we do have an Inferno. So Inferno, I mean, Inferno could wipe everything and then we can do this next turn, but the Cold Celias are gonna shuffle. So I think what we need is... we'll probably play Endless Titan Shark. Soul Guard. Cold Celia. Cold Celia descend from up here. Yeah, and that way we'll have 2 tanks in front of her. And we'll take damage, but it's kind of the whole point of having the tanks. I think that Cold Celia, if we buff the rage enough, we can swap stats and then have Cold Celia tank for the other Cold Celia. I don't know if we want to swap, like, mix and match the rage between them, but it could work. So we want Shark. Soul Guard. We could save Soul Guard. I don't think you save Soul Guard. And then you can Cold Celia, send. Now, Cold Celia is not quite killing everything instantly. She's getting close. What we can do, though, is Energy Siphon. And then if there's any unit that we don't like that we want to make sure dies, we can kind of kill it right now. So, for example, we could get rid of... You know what? We might just want to play Cold Celia down here. And then ascend her later. Could play her up here. Playing her at the bottom is probably too risky. Although, if we buff her attack enough with Rage, she could actually live. Or, I'm dumb. What we should do is ascend her immediately. Yes, 100%. She'll be dazed for 2 turns, but then she'll come out of it. So now we have a floor set up, and we're taking some damage, to be sure. But, dude, you know what? If we can give multi-strike to the back Cold Celia, then the front one on a weak attack could kill the thing that's giving us spikes. It could work. It could work. What do we need to do here? Well, you're still dazed for a turn. There's no reason to do this immediately. Kinda sucks. But you're dying, you're living and making it up, but you're not living and making it up that much. Preserve, I think we should hold on to. So weirdly, I think this might be just an end turn. Yeah, I know. It kind of sucks, but I honestly think maybe we do. We could also dump One Horn's Tome for now, but I really want to try to get the damage out quickly, and I don't want to really wait for this to shuffle around. We've got all of our good spells coming up. We kind of just drew in the wrong order here, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Could try to sap you and save damage. We might discard something good, but we didn't. We still have Preserve as well. You gain armor, but our Pyre is like full HP. Who cares? Yeah, so I think I'll actually play this to maybe kill you. I don't know how that didn't kill you. I guess you heal first and then you take the damage, but live and learn. And honestly, the orb will heal our tank if we can draw it at the right time. We didn't, but that's fine. Now, you have 500 HP. Can I deal with you? I hope so. I really hope so. We also have a lot of spikes. You're taking 15 damage from the sweep. So a One Horn's Tome in the back doesn't... That means you're not taking more damage. You're still taking the same amount of damage. So I do like that. Energy Siphon can just be played. But we might want a One Horn's Tome something. Because we are taking a lot of damage on our Soul Guard as well. And we can't really stop that damage, at least not right now. Next turn, I don't think these enemies are going to live. We're going to do so much damage with our attacks. I don't think they're going to live. Just for now, we're in a bit of a rough spot. These guys are going to hit the pyre a couple of times. I do not care. So who needs to die here? I can do 100 damage, which is enough to kill a unit. Clipped Guardian, Resolve gain damage, Harvest. get armor. You're taking 98 damage, and you're gonna have a bunch of frostbite, and I can Inferno on the next turn on the top floor and the bottom floor, I think. And we have a vent. And no spell shield. A lot of stuff to consider here. Let's see. We're about to shuffle, so we should definitely preserve something. We should preserve Inferno if we're not gonna play it. I don't think we're gonna play it. I think we should kill a unit moving up, because if we kill a unit moving up, maybe we can just let the Pyre take him out. So why don't we make sure that, actually we're probably gonna Inferno on the next turn on the top floor, in which case, why don't we kill you? Because you're gonna die anyways to the sweeper. That's a good point. Why don't we, could kill you. Gain armor 10. You know what? I do think you do this. Now, things are dying. Cold Celia's in a bit of a risky position, but we've got two of them. And we can make one of them a tank by giving it the rage, but we'll probably split the rage between them to an extent. On this turn, for instance. We need damage. More than anything else. And the more damage we do here, the less likely we're to take damage. You're still living, which is kind of absurd. I almost don't believe it. You're dead. That's beautiful. Vent doesn't kill you. It comes so damn close. We can just play the Titan Sentry down here to wipe them. We don't gotta play anything else. Gotta admit though, there was a way to, if I could ascend you and then bring you down, I could kill you without you hitting me for 17 damage, but Soul Guard, he's taking some shots. He's taking some shots. If Cold Celia has to tank for Cold Celia, that's fine. I mean, we're doing 500 damage. That's not bad. It's not bad. Didn't expect it to kill, let's be honest. You have stealth too, so a spell killing you is great. That's not gonna do it. But it does mean we'll get more frostbite, but that's not really important, is it? You should get played. You need to kind of wipe units as they come up. I'm not even gonna play the Inferno, because these Gilded Wings, they're gonna die on the next floor. We just really need that orb to come back. Although now that I think about it, if I play it, it's gonna descend us, which we definitely do not want. But we're actually living, which is fantastic. And we're doing another 500 damage. Everything down here is dying, but guess what? No, you're not. You're already dead. And honestly, you'll die on the next floor. I don't care if you die then. We have another free Inferno though. If we have a free Inferno, we should probably just play it and hold on to this one with the Preserve. We're actually getting ahead of the enemies, which is kind of absurd. Now, Soul Guard, I know you're in a rough spot, okay? Dude, it's fine. We'll deal with it at some point, I hope. Old Magic, since we don't want to descend, I guess that is just kind of a waste of a card. But, we should still play the Queen's Imp to get her out. And I really don't want to discard Inferno, so we're not going to play anything else. We have maximum fire health. We're just waiting for Rage and then Adaptive Mutation, because if we get those cards, we can make a tank out of Cold Celia to tank for Cold Celia, but we do have to buff the Rage of this Cold Celia. So we do need to shuffle and get those cards back. If I do this, you're just gonna have no HP. Although I could Rage you and give you like 20 health, but that's probably not that good. So you need to get buffed now. We have an Inferno. You have Sweep, but who gives a damn? You're gonna die. Should have probably Energy Siphon, but you know what? We'll just Energy Siphon here. Drain is very useful. Titan Sentry we could play. It doesn't really do that much damage anymore, does it? We should probably... I mean, maybe we're not gonna play Broken Cold Celia on the top floor, so we're kind of stuck. I think we just drain. We did discard a card that I wanted, but we can probably wait for it to shuffle again. Cold Celia is not gonna die over the course of the next 3 turns. Hopefully I don't die over the course of the next 3 turns, but that's another story. Hate to say it, but I think this is just you play Inferno. And then we'll hold it. And being able to push an enemy to the front would be nice, so I could actually put a blocker out. But we're doing 536 damage. We're so close. You might as well play this for the damage. There's one more turn remaining, and we're doing another 500. I think we're gonna make it, especially because we have our Rage cards in hand, and we're gonna draw Adaptive Mutation. I think we've actually done it. This will be a wonky deck, Frostbite all the way, and then on the very end, we finally got like our Cold Celia's active. You took 200 damage from the spell weakness. We might want to hold on to Drain. You're taking 10 damage, don't worry about it. Discard this. We're only drawing 6 cards, but there's only 6 cards that I want to see. One of them is a card that swaps my health around. We're actually living, stupidly enough. We're getting the kill at exactly the moment when we're dying, I think. Because we're quick, we're actually getting it before we die. But here's how it would work in theory, okay? Buff, 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 and then with 1 Adaptive Mutation, you become a 150-150, and then you'll be able to tank like 5 turns out of this fool. That's how it would work in theory. Who said Frostbite was bad against the final boss? Man, it is so freaking hard to keep your champion alive without access to either Umbra or Awoken. Because we only got 2 armor cards that showed up on the, 3 armor cards. It was like an armor 5 for 0 energy, which sucks. Piercing damage, which would have killed us if I had used it after the multi-strike, which would have sucked. Or it was a spike that gave us at most 6 armor because I only had 3 ember. So we didn't have any armor to rely on. Thankfully, in the end, it didn't matter. Holy crap. I guess that's what I get for just like playing slowly, because I played so freaking slowly at the end there especially. Took a lot of time to make some decisions, but where's our run history? Can we see it from here? I was kind of hoping I could so I could actually get like some music happening in the background, but that's fine. Take a look at that run history. Don't look at any of those other runs. Cold Celia. I mean, we got what we wanted. Sweep, quick, multi-strike, demon fiend, big units. And honestly, we started with 2 Ritual of Battles, and in the end, I loved it. And the only artifact on the entire run turned out to be utterly critical for its ability to let you play expensive cards for free. Whether it's Ritual of Battles, Infernos, or where the heck is he? It's in, there it is, One Horn's Tome. My God. Fun run. I understand a little bit more about how to maybe use Ritual of Battle as a good card to scale for the Divinity fight. Because the rage damage you get is actually pretty good. But, and hopefully you learned something as well, like how to use Adaptive Mutation along with Ritual of Battle to get free HP out of it. Because the rage counts for the health on the swap, and then you get another stack of rage damage on top of the new damage that you have. And so if you have Adaptive Mutation without Consume, and you can play it multiple times in a combat, you can have infinite stats. They scale with whatever your rage is. And that's a lot of fun. This was one thick deck. I need to try to thin out my decks a little bit more, but a lot of these cards I did not add in, and a lot of them I did, like Hoarfrost, ended up not mattering at all, which we should have realized going up against the final boss, but I was hoping that maybe we could use it for something, but hey. Whew, good run. I gotta do my outro here. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more. Check me out on Twitch for when I go live. Support me on Twitch, Patreon, and Streamlabs, or on any of the links below in the video description. And I hope to see you here again for the next run of Monster Train.